left. That is only 2.5 months of football. 8 chances to define this season. And, you know, has it been a good one, or can we right the wrongs of 2025 and make it a great one? And right now, Manchester United are walking a fine line. Win, and you put daylight between us and the chasing pack. One slip up, and everything we've worked towards starts to collapse. Sounds drastic, but it's so true. Bournemouth away is no easy place to go. We won't have many fans there. They're draw specialists. But this is where top teams show who they are. Can they stand up and be counted? Can they bring home the bacon? So tonight, we will break it all down and let's talk about the last 8 games we have of this season in 2026. Guys, before we go and get into the Bournemouth lineup and how United should approach this game, if you are new here, this is United Lens. No fluff, no nonsense, just real football talk. And if you want to follow this run-in properly, game by game, moment by moment, and let's be fair, we are Moments FC, make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn the notifications on so you get all the stuff we're doing. We're about to go into 21-day lull between after Friday's game. We don't play for another 24 days when we turn up against Leeds. This is pretty unheard of at this time of year, but we've brought it on ourselves, and that is why this is all going to matter. So, because from here, every game matters, I want you here going through all the videos, all the reviews, previews, and everything else I put out. So let's get on to it, guys. In tonight's show, we will break down the importance of this stage of the season. Okay, how United should approach the game tactically, the key battles that could decide the result, and what a win or loss means moving forward at this pinnacle point of the season. You can always remember, if depending on your age, as Ferguson said, everything is decided in April and May. And after Friday, that's where we'll be at with only 7 games left. So we've got to make sure that before we return from this 24 days, we are doing it off of a win. Go into the international break, have a nice bit of a relax, not that these players really need it, and we crack on. So, first things first, let's see who's in the chat tonight. I'm sure there's a few. We've got Bilal's in early, saying my volume's low. Let's have a look. Is that a bit better? Bilal, let me know. I'll just move the mic a little bit and turn the volume up. Oh, no. I don't want it too loud. I have quite a deep voice and I'll start sounding like Darth Vader. But I also have quite a sore throat, so that might have something to do with it as well. We're going to start tonight, as we always do. We'll have a quick look at the Bournemouth lineup, okay? I'm using FootMob. It's that time of the season where players keep getting changed, so we can only see who they're expecting us to start with. So straight in, Petrovic in goal. Senassi, Hill at the back. Smith, Truffet as the fullbacks. Now, last time we played him, I said Scott would start. He didn't. But they're going Scott, Christie, and then Ryan, Kouprey, Tavernier. Really like Tavernier. And Evan Nilsson up front. Obviously, no Semenyo anymore. It's a big change from when we last played Bournemouth. But I think they've got, what is it, last 5 games, is it quite a few draws? I think they're saying they've got the most draws in the league this season. So basically that's another way of saying very hard to break down. You know, Scott is going to be thinking, this is the last chance I've got to be impressing Man United if they're looking at me for next season. So he's going to have a very pinnacle part to go in this show, because I wouldn't mind having a little look at him. Ryan and Tavernier, very hit and miss. Very hit and miss. Evan Nilsson, again, I like him. Takes a shot early. Up against Harry Maguire, maybe a bit more of a problem. But if Euro plays the way he did against Watkins, I think Euro's actually capable of putting him in his pocket. So it'll be very interesting to see what goes on. Bilal says Adam Smith must be 150 years old. Yeah, but he's not the only one. Got the old Everton fullback as well. That has done enough against us in the past. Age is just a number. Everyone likes to turn up against United and make it their last hurrah, don't they? Some people might say that about Casemiro sometimes. So let's just have a quick look. Where are they sat in the league currently? They're in what we call no man's land, aren't they? So they've got nothing to play for. Pretty sure not going to get dragged into a relegation dogfight. Not going to make the European places. So these sort of games, it's just sort of ticking over. Players start protecting themselves for the World Cup. We can only hope that there's a few in there that might want to do that. But yeah, no one really in the Bournemouth team stands out. And that's sort of one of the things about Iriola as a manager. His players don't jump out at you. They're not superstars. Semenyo, on the other hand, you might disagree, got a big move to City, but it's about their work ethic. It's about how hard they track back and press and do everything as a cohesive team that really puts the pressure on everyone. And that's pretty much probably why they've been, tagged a bit of a draw specialist this season, because they're hard to score against, but obviously they struggle to put the ball in the net. And selling your best players only going to make that 10 times worse. So, guys, come in the chat. Let me know if there's anyone that stands out to you that you think, well, do you know what, Mark, you're a little bit wrong. Actually, I quite fancy Evan Nilsson, Ryan. Senesi's actually quite dangerous on set pieces. Let me know. But we're not going to focus too much on Bournemouth because, like I say, I don't think they've got too much to offer us. In their own attack that we have to worry about. I can see them being another mid to low block team, but we're going to struggle to break down, and that's what I want to get onto. So let's get rid of the Bournemouth team, nice and early, and let's get up what I think we should start with. We all know how the last preview went, and the manager obviously went with something totally different. But in my eyes, this is how we should line up. But, I say it most weeks. Manager doesn't like to change a winning formation. So Dallo, Mazraoui, what we want and what we get seems to be two different things from Michael Carrick in the right back position. And obviously, Big Ben, as I called him in the rating show and thing, he's literally getting the nickname now of Ole Gunnar Cesco, because coming off the bench, scoring their goals, he's got to start. I've heard talks of Mbeumo actually being dropped to the bench for Friday, and Ahmad keeping his place, and then Mbeumo getting a slight rest. But we are obviously going into an international break. I don't know where Mbeumo is regarding matches over the next 3 weeks. Cunha is in the Brazil squad, so he's got to fly off. Obviously Fernandes. Mainoo, maybe he gets a call up. I'll be surprised, but maybe Mainoo gets a call up. Maybe Maguire gets a call up. Euro probably won't. So we just got to see from there. But Casemiro and Cunha will be flying off to Brazil, so they can give everything, and then just, if they haven't got the energy for Brazil's friendlies, so be it. That's the way I've always looked at international football. But we all know for some of these players, their country come before their club. That's just the way it is. Right, who's this? We got real ones in the chat. Good evening, real ones. Thanks for you to join us. So, but yes. So where do you want to start with this? I'm going to say why I feel Mazraoui should still be starting. There is a slight concern. Mazraoui was a absentee from training. Was it today or was it yesterday? I'm trying to think. I think it was this morning. He's slightly ill. Carrick said that he doesn't expect him to miss the game. So that sort of says to me that he's going to be on the bench, if I'm honest. But the way Dallow's been playing, the misses he had, and just in this with a mid block that was going to be hard to break down, I think Mazraoui's a better crosser of the ball. I think he offers more on the overlaps. So it'd be good to see him. But I can understand him sticking with Dallow, like I say, if Mazraoui's had a virus. Lenny Yoro, Maguire up against Evan Nilsson. For me, should literally be Maguire's got the strength over Evan Nilsson. Yoro can keep up with him for pace. It should be a walk in the park for him, touch wood. Dare I say it. And then Luke Shaw, ever present Shaw this season. That means he doesn't play for us next season at all. We'll be injured for the whole season. But this season, he's not been outstanding, steady, turns up every week. It's pretty much, thank God, because we don't have another left back really capable. So the defence really picks itself. Obviously, Mr. Calming goal, Mr. Ever Present, because we have no one else where we just feel faith. Should we just call it what it is? There's just so much faith in Lemons in goal that him claiming of the balls in the air just calms us all down, especially in away games. In an away game, if he can come and take an early cross, an early cut back and just settle the team, it's absolutely vital for everyone's just to grow into that game, because it's hard to play at Bournemouth because I think it's 900 fans. That's all we're going to have there. We have the best travelling away fans in the league. Well, we have the best fans in the league, let's be fair. Ours actually turn up, unlike City, who just leave 20,000 empty seats. But 900 fans, which will sing from, before kick-off till the sun comes up the next morning. And we're going to need that. You always need that down there. The Cherries are it's a horrible ground to go to. It's proper old school. It lacks atmosphere in its own way, but it brings other things. So, yes. Evening, Trevor. Nice to see you here as well. Midfield, Casemiro, Mainoo. Yeah, those two. If anyone could have told me the fountain of youth for Casemiro was putting Kobe Mainoo alongside him for 90 minutes, we'd all have done it from the I don't know. Mainoo probably would never have got dropped under any manager or for any time, because the resurgence of Casemiro, Mr. 6'7", with the celebrations, it just makes Jamie Carragher look like more of a dickhead than he does normally when he opens his mouth, doesn't it? Let's be honest. Mainoo and Casemiro are going to have their hands full. Like I say, Scott will probably sit, drive forward, do more box to box, and Mainoo's going to have to pick him up. Casemiro will sit in that just in front of Maguire and Euro, probably screening Evan Nilsson and just pick up the ball. That's what I'm hoping. And then we just leave our front four to cook. And let's be fair, right now we are cooking. So before we go into the front four, what's this Trevor's just said? Mazraoui was missing from training as he was ill, so don't think he will start. Unfortunately, probably Dopey Dallow yet again. Yeah, Trevor, I was just saying that probably just before you came into the show. I'd done Mazraoui in my lineup. Obviously, Carrick did explain he was ill, but it's one of those, let's go with what we want and just touch wood and hope that he's okay. And it was just a little bit of a virus. Luke Shaw and Harry Maguire a couple of weeks ago fell ill and they both started the game. So there is a chance. But I just feel against the low block or mid block that he would be the better one. But yes, let's get back onto the front four. I did say I heard rumours about Mbeumo potentially being dropped for this game. And let's be fair, it's probably his turn. Not for any main reason, but let's give him a bit of a rest. Ahmad came on. I thought Ahmad done everything you would want of him after being dropped. So Ahmad came in the last game, obviously in place of Cesco, really, when you look at how we lined up. Cesco has to start. You know, the guy's come back off the bench, slammed in another one, and it was a great goal because the way he read what was going on, hurdled the player, spun and just slammed it. You know, that's that killer instinct we've been screaming for. I definitely have been screaming for. So I can see Mbeumo just taking one out for the team and being second half impact. You know, Cunha scored, Cesco scored, and Mbeumo hasn't scored for a couple of games now. So maybe it's just time, and that's just that rotation. We all talk about rotation all of the time. So just maybe bring a new lease of life to him. You know, his place isn't a dead certainty. There's nothing wrong with that in football. It makes you want to play harder. So maybe if there is some truth behind the Ahmad, maybe Mbeumo's got a knock and it's just a bit of a leak coming out. So Cunha on the left. I thought in the last game he was absolutely superb. I thought the way Cunha sort of operated and ran in this what I call straight lines. I talk about it a lot. Where you finish is where you've got to come back, and if you're going to tuck inside, you'll leave your left back exposed. So he held the width a lot more, and that enabled Fernandes to sort of pick up better pockets instead of coming into the middle pocket and then going from there, which stops Bruno from moving. So Cunha, just keep doing what you're doing, mate. Just keep doing what you're doing. And then, like I said, Big Ben has to play. The way that you can have a goal scoring striker and destroy his confidence is what else do I need to do? As soon as he starts getting that in his head, like, come on, guys, what else does he need to do to get in that starting 11 and just score? You know, well, I'm doing that. I'm coming off the bench. I'm scoring and I'm not starting. So every time that ball goes in the net, he has to stay on the pitch. For me, as an ex-striker, it's all about mentality, and the only way you're going to take the one chance you get in a game, when that happens and you've got that 0-0 game and one chance falls to your striker, is that consistency of playing. So for me, he plays, and I will put with that the amount of balls we put in the bloody box in the first half on Sunday, and having Mbeumo up there, and we're like, you realise Cesco isn't playing. If that is our tactic, Cesco has to be up there. If not, fuck me, play Harry Maguire in the box, because there were so many chances to score headers. And then obviously Bruno Fernandes, you know, last game, I'm not going to keep going on about. I did rave about him. I thought he was absolutely superb in the last game. He needs 4 assists. 4 more assists for that record, or is it 5 to beat it? 4 to equal it for the Premier League record assists now. And then he just, you know, if he gets any more, he moves further away from David Beckham. It's not I beat Beckham by 1. I've eclipsed David Beckham, and that is something hard for any United fan probably to swallow, because when we talk about David Beckham, we talk about the best crosser of the ball known to English football for a very, very long time. So let's just see. So that's sort of the lineup. We'll leave the lineup there. We'll come back into the chat. Just while I'm finding the messages in the chat, so I just want to say hi to all of you watching on X. If you are, just leave some comments on the video. If you can click on the link, pop yourself over to YouTube, hit subscribe, follow, whatever you feel is good to do. But please just give the video a thumbs up. It's really appreciated by me. Right now, I am getting sort of only 2-3% of you subscribing, but in this month alone, I've had 30,000 views on over my videos, and I'm just not converting. Hey, that's on me. So all I can ask is just remember to hit that subscribe button. But let's see what we got here from Trevor. We know about Mazraoui, Casemiro. This is probably one of my favourite. Anyone who knows me, I absolutely love Casemiro. Casemiro is on a resurgence. He will be sorely missed just for his experience alone, absolutely. A day when Maguire and Bruno and Casemiro are gone is not too far down the line. So we need to rebuild and rebuild now. And there's rebuilding, and then there's replacing that experience, that know-how. And Trevor, over the next couple of weeks, we're going to go into that because, let's be fair, we haven't got a game for 24 days after Friday. I've got to put out some content. We're going to look at midfielders, but we're not just going to look at all these names. We're going to look at what we need and where we might need to say, do you know what? Let's pay 20 million for this guy. But he's so old. Yes, but he's got experience. We call it a Jordan Henderson effect when you look at the England team. You know, I don't think Jordan Henderson should be anywhere near the England team. But from a mental point of view, absolutely, having someone with that experience. Same with Harry Maguire going to the World Cup. Experience for the back line. You have to have it. Cunha's finish against Villa was Henry-esque. I think that's being very kind there, Trevor. I wouldn't say Henry-esque. It was a superb secondary run, and he doesn't quite whip it. He just passes it hard and low. I would have liked a little bit more bend on it, so it doesn't give the keeper a chance. I think maybe 2 seasons ago, Martinez gets down to it without that whip around him. But hey, it goes in, and it doesn't matter how it goes in. You can shank it off the outside of your foot, totally miss it, and if it goes in and wins you the game, that's all that matters. Cesco Has To Start. Why he was not starting the last day was a big negative from Carrick. It was confusing for us, but we got the win. And at the end of the day, it all comes down to getting the win, right? So we can always criticise what we think should happen, i.e. me with Mazraoui and Dalot, and Cesco as well. But we got the win. So from that point, manager did get it right. Or, you know, I don't want to turn around at this point in the season and going, no, we got lucky. Because I'm taking it. I'm taking that luck. And I'm running all the way to the bank with it. Bruno needs 5 to beat it. Yeah, 20 is the record, 16 so far. That's what I thought. Mark, did you just say hi to all tuning in from Triple X channel? I'm unsubscribing as I thought this channel had nothing to do with balls. No, it was definitely just X. No Triple X channels, Trevor. I don't know what you've been watching, but you know, just make sure you got your VPN turned on. That's all I'm going to say. But guys, let's get back on track. That's all the chat's caught up. Anyone's got anything else to say, pop it in there or pop it in the comments. You know, let's get rid of this starting 11. We don't need to worry about that too much. And if people didn't want to join from the start, they're going to have to catch up afterwards. So, how should we approach this game from a tactical point? I want to cover. But before we get to that, let's talk about the importance of 8 games left. That's the importance of we're going into April. You know, this is do or die. We've had a slow start. We've changed manager. A miracle's happened. You know, the saviour Michael Carrick has come in some people's eyes and leading us to the Champions League. And you know, if that's the case, we're all here for it, right? But when you only have 8 games left, and you're going to have these huge gaps. So we've got 24 days between Bournemouth and Leeds. And I'm going to keep emphasising on it because it's pretty unheard of. We're going to have the 2 weeks off. And then we still don't play till the following Monday when everyone else has played their matches. There's going to be Champions League games in there before we've even played. Okay, which is mental. And let's just touch on Champions League. I spoke yesterday. if you didn't hear that, Alexa's trying to just randomly get involved in my conversations. But 2 teams through. I think that's bloody embarrassing for the English clubs. Europa League, Europa Conference League, we ain't looking great there either. But Newcastle, Jesus Christ, what went on there tonight? You've got the Tottenham trying their best to come back against Atletico. But let's be fair, they had an absolute mountain to climb and it was never going to happen. But all in all, we need to step up for the Champions League. And that needs to be us next year. And we've got 1 foot there. And that's why these 8 games count. 24 days, Leeds. Then we play Chelsea. Then I think we've got another week off between matches. And who is it we play after that? Is it the Liverpool game? We come back to the Liverpool game on the 20th or something like that, is it? Let me just get the fixtures up just so I can be 100%. So we come back with Leeds on the 13th. 18th on the Saturday we play Chelsea. And then we got Brentford on the Monday night and Liverpool the following Saturday on May the 2nd. So between the 18th, Saturday the 18th and Monday the 27th, again, another big gap. And this is going to keep happening because we've had such a poor season. Such a poor season. We can't deny that. And we have to be honest and open to that. And that could affect us come the end of the season in more ways than one. Transfers, consistency. So right now, it's 1 game at a time. It's Bournemouth. You know, do what we need to do over that time off. We come back. It's Leeds. We all fucking hate Leeds. It's Old Trafford. It's Leeds United. We've got to go out. Keep Old Trafford as that fortress under Michael Carrick and absolutely batter them and make sure we put a nail in their coffin to put them back down into the Championship. And then the big games come thick and fast. Chelsea, Brentford, Liverpool. Sunderland will potentially be a weird one because Sunderland will be in that no man's land where they've got nothing to play for. Forest, then Brighton. Forest up against relegation. And let's be fair, Brighton, last game of the season. If you're going to that, please let me know and maybe we can do a meet-up or something because I will be there. These games have to be won. It has to be convincing and it has to be energetic and it has to be everything. And it's very hard to do that because people start worrying now that I'm saying we've only got 2.5 months left of football. It's 2.5 months until most of these players start thinking, I've got a World Cup. We could be on for winning the World Cup. Oh, I don't want to give 100%. I only want to give 75. I want to save a bit of myself. I don't want to pick up an injury at this point. We can't have that. I'm sorry, we can't have that. I can't have Bruno Fernandes holding back a little. We need Champions League. They all need to go get it, and he needs to lead that team. So that's how I see the importance of this stage of the season. We should approach this game tactically probably a little bit different, I think. I feel like we should be giving the ball to Bournemouth, and I'll go into what I mean by that in a minute, which, like I say, as I go through each point, I'll try and keep up with the chat. Trevor is being a keyboard warrior tonight. Love it. Thanks you, Trev, for all your input. There are no excuses now for getting in the Champions League, but every game now is a cup final. Absolutely 8 cup finals. That's all we have. But this 3 weeks off before we play again could be detrimental. And that's what I'm getting at. So it's weird. Every manager complains that international comes, they get 2 weeks where they have no players, and they come back and they might only have 3 days and they've got a game. We're going to have another week on top of that. So for us, it might be good. But we're probably at the lowest amount of starting internationals in our starting 11 than we've had in 10, 15 years. So, goalkeeper isn't first choice. Maguire won't be first choice, but, might get a call up. Shaw, no. Euro, no. Mazraoui, well, Mazraoui's got a lot on his plate at the moment with Morocco being handed the African nations last night. Maybe at the end of the show we can have a little talk about that. Kobe Mainoo, no. Casemiro will be in Brazil, so yes, he'll play. And Burmo, not sure. Haven't looked how many games he's got. Ahmad, haven't looked. Cesco, will just be easy friendlies for him. Cunha will be in Brazil. So really, we're not all talking about starting 11, are we, for our internationals currently? So again, they're not even got the game time ticking over there, thick and fast. Which, for us, as Trevor's just said, it's all about having only 8 games left. But that 3 weeks being detrimental, well, at least we know there's less chance of them picking up injuries. What's this? Mark, that wasn't Alexa, that was Stu trying on his mankini in his private dressing room. And he was giving out that it was the right, yeah, maybe. And if I can hear him from here, then I've got serious trouble, Trevor. But she who will not be named because she'll go off again, God, I've got to get rid of her because the amount of questions I ask it now, and it just does, I can't help you with that. Right. The beginning of the AI, she's been replaced by everyone. But next thing you know, we'll all have a ChatGPT like voice activated device probably in our houses. But you know, that's a different story. Tactically, I feel Friday night is, it might sound weird, give Bournemouth the ball. Because when you get a team that is so determined to not lose, I was going to say not attack, but it's more not lose. The more you let them have the ball and control where they are on the pitch, the more you can set your traps and get that counter in behind. And let's be fair, right now, we are a counter-attacking team. It depends where we win it back on the pitch, but it is still balls in behind and we're counter-attacking. And then we've got a decent amount from set pieces as well. So we've got to utilise our strength. Right now isn't a time to be going, oh, we should be doing this, we should be doing that. I've spoken a lot about second, third man runs, breaking the lines, you know, having a player offside to drop a defender and then someone else comes through and he gets played on for that reason. Switching the play, having someone off on the left, switching it out to the right so they stay on side. All basic football. And during the summer, I can probably go through more of that and how United will look going forward once we know who the manager is, once we know who our transfer targets are. But right now, it's about doing the unexpected. So if Man United struggles to break down a low block, how can we stop them from getting into a low block? We need to invite pressure onto us. Very dangerous game to play, especially at this time of the season. I get that. You know, if you think I'm mad, please come back and tell me. But I think that if we let Bournemouth have the game, they're a bit of a counter-attacking team. So if we let Scott and that have the ball and just travel with it, let's not close them down. Certainly do not high press them. We don't need to do that, and we're not good at doing it. And I'm fed up of having to talk about it. But I thought in the last game we finally got it right. If we contain them in the middle, and then we can spring our traps, go wide, and get the pace out. Ahmad, Cunha, for me, or Mbumo, whoever it is, can do that. And then Cesco can just pin their centre-back back. As long as Cesco stays high on his own, on one centre-back, and we always have an out ball, don't allow the centre-back to even get a run-up on him. Just literally pin him with his arm, you know, or behind him, just stay in contact. And then we can run in behind. And that's just the way I think tactically we can break it down. Our passing's been better. The drills I've seen over the last week put out on YouTube and on the United apps have been based around quick, incisive 2v2 drills. Okay, they're quite basic, but it's something we don't do very well, where when we've got to move the ball, find the pockets around the edge of the box, okay? So they know that they're going to face a low block, and they're working on that. But with Kobe Mainoo and Casemiro, they're not sprinters out from the back. The less space they have to cover, the more solid Man United is. With a back four and the two sweeping in front, just called it a solid back six. It just enables everyone else to go and play. And that's where we're at now. It's about doing what we've got at the right moments, at the right speed and intensity. And the word intensity is the biggest key. The key battles that could decide this result. Unlike a lot of the previews, I can normally go around and go him versus him, him versus him. I don't see that many in this, and it's because Bournemouth are such a good team. When we played them last time, I had Semenyo, and we saw the argy-bargy between Dalot and Semenyo where they were going down. There was a little bit of pushing and shoving off the ball. You know, all the good stuff we love about English football. But for me, Evan Nilsson up front, Harry Maguire and Euro should have more than enough to deal with him. What I don't want to see is either centre-back following him into like that false nine position, because he will drop in with the midfielders and would prefer to run from deep and run in behind. So Casemiro screening and either Euro or Maguire picking him up. You know, in the air, they're not going to put the ball in the air. Maguire's going to clear it all day. So it's going to be on the floor. As long as Euro knows that, and he's got to do his best Rio Ferdinand impression and just sweep up, be on the move constantly, ready to drop. Harry Maguire step in. He drops, sweeps up 5-10 yards behind, and we just play out through the goalkeeper. Never recommend playing back to the goalkeeper. You know that, especially at Bournemouth. It's a little bit bobbly down there. So it's not the best idea, but they can work that out when they go do it. Our midfield is still vulnerable, as I think Mainoo is too slow and turns like a tortoise. That's why I'm sort of saying about not stretching the game, Trevor. I don't think he turns like a tortoise. I think he's very quick at turning, but he can't run. He is stuck in first gear, and that's the kind of player he is. And it's not a problem. There's been plenty of players who don't have that sort of acceleration. He's got a quick sort of 5 yards, but after that, it's quick into. It's like turning your car on, flooring it, and never changing out of first gear. You shoot up, don't you, to 20 miles an hour, and then the next thing you know, you're not really going anything faster than that, unless you've got an electric car. Before anyone comes back at me with that, but in general, that's sort of like Kobe Mainoo. He can turn quick, but what he is giving Casemiro in an outball between him and Bruno is why Casemiro is doing what he's doing so well. We're getting the Casemiro of Real Madrid when he had Kroos and Modric, where it was like, yeah, get it here. I know where he's going to be. I know where he's going to be, and we're just going to retain the ball. So, Mainoo, speed's not needed. Position, being correctly in the right positions, what we need right now. I'll come back to that. So, yes, sitting back and let our front four do the job with 6 defending and just countering on Bournemouth. Hey, we're away from home. We can't afford to drop points. But in the same sense, we've got to guarantee we come away with a point. There's plenty of teams that go to Bournemouth and don't come away with a point because they press, and Bournemouth get late goals. So for me, the key battles will be Cesco against their centre-back. He's going to need to occupy 2 centre-backs. Just get on one as soon as he thinks he's got you. You move on to the other one, but you just stay as high as possible. Make the pitch as long as possible for that out ball. And then the other key areas is going to be the fullbacks. Fullbacks for both teams. As we spoke about, I want Mazraoui to start. I get Dalot is most likely to start, but Dallow's going to have to go up and down. Luke Shaw, I need him doing overlaps Friday night. You know, we need him getting past Cunha and just pinning their fullbacks back when we go. Whether they choose to do that, Dalot was inverting a lot into midfield. I don't feel we need that against Bournemouth. We need to stay as wide as possible. Like I say, Cesco as high as possible. Might be a big gap between him, Bruno, Ahmad, and Mbumo, Cunha, whoever that 3 behind him is. But that's okay because he can hold the ball up. So we'll have to see. But key battles wise, that's it. That's it. This is a team about which team is going to give 110% for 90 minutes, 100 minutes, whatever it takes before going into the international break. That's the key battle. That is the key moment, the key battle. Call it whatever you want, terminology wise. But right now, 8 games, 8 cup finals, as Trevor said, and that's 110% from everyone. And we're back in the Champions League next season. And I tell you what, second place, we ain't too far off it. So we just go one game at a time. We take 3 points, 3 points, 3 points. Don't worry about what anyone else is doing. But there's still mistakes there to come, you know. So we'll have to wait and see. Don't forget, City and Arsenal won't be playing again this weekend. So it's going to not necessarily put pressure on them, but it's going to look tighter. So they're going to have those games in hand to play and they can make mistakes. Obviously, City ain't going to have Champions League in the mix anymore, while Arsenal still are. So the league's still going to be there. What we got here? Bournemouth play high intensity football, so we might be under the cost straight from the off. We need to meet like for like, if you ask me, give them some of their own medicine. Yes, we do. And that's sort of what I mean, though, by we need to do that, and they will be expecting that. So if we play more on a counter, that's not playing into their hands. They might try to press us really high, which they're more than capable of doing, but they don't have the legs at the back. So that's why I'm sort of saying if we can keep Cesco as high, pinning the centre-backs into their own half and put the ball in behind. Petrovic is not a great sweeper keeper. You know, he's not going to clear up behind the back four. So we'll have to wait and see what happens there. It's only my opinion. It's only from what I've seen of Bournemouth. I don't watch Bournemouth week in, week out. But I definitely have seen enough of Iriola's football in the Premier League to understand how he plays. And that's one of the reasons why when we're being linked to players from these kind of teams, where I go, will they do that at Manchester United? You know, that's the question I asked of Cunha. And he's showing me, yeah, he's bringing the Cunha from Wolves, is still there. But can he now go to the next level? So Scott, if Scott wants to become a Man United player, you know, with the links, he's going to be trying to do his best. So remember, sometimes when they try to do their best, they make the most mistakes. And Baleba is a key example of that from being linked with us, and look at the season he's had. So high intensity. I think we just need to trick them a little, and we've got coaching staff there capable of doing that at the moment. So yeah. So for me, that's key battles all covered off, guys. The last thing I want to go through before we go into questions and answers. So Trevor, I've already seen you asked a couple of questions. What a win or loss means moving forward. Without being totally obvious, every game has to be a win. You know, we said it multiple times on this show already. Every game's a cup final. Every game, we take one game at a time. It's 3 points. It has to be 3 points, and we're in the Champions League. We do have that 3-point cushion. We do have time to prepare for each game. So that intensity does need to be there. And that is why a loss is going to be so damaging for us. I can see Villa being outside of the top six by after we've played Leeds. I can see Villa being outside. I can see Liverpool coming up behind us. Chelsea, God knows what's going on with them. Maybe they'll start holding hands, making a circle around their stadium or something, but God knows what they're going to get away with next. But I can see Chelsea, Liverpool leapfrogging Aston Villa like we have now, and Villa dropping away while they potentially push for the Europa League. Don't feel they're going to do that anyway. I feel they'll go out this week. But that win and just having that kind of experience building in our team that we're pushing forward. Everything we've digged out Arsenal for not having, we haven't really got winners in our team currently. We've won trophies. Casemiro's won everything there is to win, right? But all in all, it's about, I'm trying to say it, it's about the don't lose mentality. So the draw's okay, but it's dependent on results. A win is a must, but if you put that pressure on these United players, they crumble, and we've got a lot to prove in that aspect, especially next season. Okay, who's Anthony? Thank you. Says good one, bro. Keep pushing. I'm trying my best. Much appreciate the love there, my guy. Champions League is in our own hands. It's that simple. Worry about ourselves, and everyone else can take care of themselves. Exactly, and I think as a fan base, you're going to see this from so many channels now. Okay, and it's what I'm not about. You know, good evening boxing. Seems you just popped in the chat. You know, Trevor boxing, Bilal, all these people, Danny who's not here tonight. They will all tell you this channel is about honesty. Okay, I'm not going to fluff United. I'm not going to blow smoke up their arse. Like, yes, it is in our hands, but let's be honest, we are more than capable of blowing it because we've proven that to all of us as fans. You know, I'm not going to say, that's it, guys. 8 games to go. We are back in the Champions League next season. Only takes 2 losses. 2 losses to the wrong teams when other teams are playing. Bang, we drop out. So, as Trevor has just said, we have to win every game, but that's all we look at. It's a bit like how Liverpool won the title last season, and I hate saying it. We take every game as it comes. We're just looking to the next game. We're looking to the next game because we're not good enough currently to look further. But we are in a good run of form, and that's what counts. A draw, I can take a draw, but I think we can only draw 2 games. If we win the rest and we draw 2 games, it still could be dubious. Don't forget, we've got Liverpool and Chelsea to play. So if those games go either way, we're dropping points. Okay, so Liverpool has to be a draw. Chelsea has to be a draw to stay ahead of them. We lose to either of them, shit starts hitting the fan. And do we have the cojones to keep going? You know, and I feel we do. I feel Michael Carrick has brought something back to that team that is been missing. You know, thank God it's not the winning team photos and things like that. But just, I don't know. I don't know what it is he's brought back. Whether it's playing for the manager, as in who's coming in, that fear. Because every player needs to play under a fear factor of not starting the next game. That's how you get the best out of any player. But yeah, losing now, that's it, and that's what you've got to have. We cannot afford to lose. But it's going to be on Carrick and his coaching staff to be like, hey, don't be scared. We go out there and we fight for 91 minutes. You know, we Fergie time. This is what this club does, and we come back. But at the end of the day, this is all about Bournemouth, isn't it? So that's how I see Friday's game. We've got boxing in the house now. We've got a few of you here, guys. Got any questions about this week, the game we've just played, or Friday night's game? Trevor, I've seen you put some in, so if I just find some of them. You've got a show idea, Marcus. I worry about when I read this. The show you should do during the 3-week break is about the youngsters coming through the United system at the moment, not just JJ Gabriel or of the world, but for ones we might not know about. It is something I want to look at because the 18s played tonight into the semi-finals of the FA Youth Cup yet again. It does seem like that's a yearly thing for us. I know we are very lucky. Obi scored. No JJ Gabriel. You're hearing of tonight. You're hearing about Obi getting that. Ndai on the left scored. We went 2-1 down, 2-2, and we get a winner. I can't remember who scored the winner. It's gone out of my head. But yes, oh Trevor, absolutely, I can look at some of them and stay away from Gabriel, stay away from Kai Rooney because they're the ones, they're up and coming. Then the next 2 years, do not expect those names to be on our bench. Even I still only want to see them in the in the 21s and playing in the whatever it's going to be called next year, the paint Johnson's Paint Trophy or whatever they call the low league cup, where we play League Two and conference teams. Absolutely, I can do that. Um, let's just have a look. What else have people has put in evening boxing question. Question here. What budget do you think we will have in the summer after Rashford, Anthony, and Højlund money? And you're forgetting qualification for the Champions League. That's an extra 100 million you can spend instantly because we will make that from the Champions League group games, which we have to play, whether we even get out the group. That's an extra 100 million. This is probably one of the hardest questions out there to think about. Budget, Man United, and the word budget. It's when we get told we got no money, we go spend 200-300 million, but we're all going to be broke by Christmas. So I generally don't know. I feel we need to spend almost $500 million in the summer. Like you say, Rashford, Anthony, Højlund money coming in, 200 million credit facility, 100 extra million from Champions League qualification. It should be there to spend, but it's about spending it wisely. So, like I said, about in the 3 weeks, one of the shows I want to look at is about bringing in the experience as well as the youth. We can't stick like to our guns entirely for this, bringing in players under the age of 24, because we're just not going to go anywhere. Only a selling team does that. So yeah, I think we're 400 to 500 million should be what we can spend. But I've said before on here and on other shows, it's a World Cup year. Players' costs go through the roof. You almost pay an extra 50 million or anywhere up to that. If it's £100 million player, it's 150 if he's playing in the World Cup. Especially he's having a good World Cup. Obviously, you want to buy a player who's having a bad World Cup. Pros and cons. His price might come down, but you might think, "Oh Jesus Christ, do I really need to buy him?" He didn't do it on the world stage. So that hope answers the question, Trev. Honestly, think we do a job on Bournemouth. Carrick so far is very measured, and he understands the job in hand. Boxing, probably that is a perfect statement, really, for where we are right now. Carrick has been measured. We haven't necessarily agreed with everything he's done. Last game, no Cesco, no Mazraoui. When he dropped Ahmad, some of us didn't think that should have happened. I thought Cunha probably should have been out at that point. But let's be fair. I'm in a disagreement, and he's proving me wrong with Euro over heaven. That's something. But if you're getting the results, you're getting the results. And it's one game. Just focus. And you can do that when you've only got a week's, well, in the next one, 3 weeks prep. But you can look at every little aspect. You haven't got to rush it because you've got another game 2 days, 3 days later. So that's where next season is going to be totally different. I think we probably spend 300 million. Yeah. Don't forget net profit. So I say 500 million, but obviously that's including the money we're going to get in. So net profit 200 to 300 million sounds about right for Man United. I don't think there's anyone else we can really ship out. Ugarte, hopefully we can move him on. It hasn't really worked out for him. I'm just trying to think if there's anyone else. I don't think so. We still don't know where we are with Harry Maguire. So that could be an outlay with no money coming in. So there are still some problematic areas for the summer. Question: what do you think Hjumand at Sporting? I heard we are in for him, but I am not sure. I really rate Hjumand. Very good holding midfielder. I've done a show a couple of months back, probably November time with on Tactical Devils, and we looked at him, and his heat map to prime Rodri was nigh on identical. Now, but obviously I don't read into them too much, but it showed me he didn't have a side. He didn't. Oh, he stays mainly to the left. No, he's a single pivot six that can cover both sides, bring the ball out. Um, there's been a lot of a smear campaign about us going for Hjumand because he's got an Arsenal tattoo. Who gives a fuck? I really don't care. Michael Owen was born and bred and came to play for Manchester United, and through the Liverpool academy. That I'm pretty sure we could go through numerous Man United players who are supporters of other teams that we don't want to. Wouldn't surprise me if Juan Mata had a Chelsea tattoo. Do you know what I mean? Or we got Mason Mount. Okay, I say we got Mason Mount, but we still bought him. Things like that. So yeah, I think he would be a really good purchase. I think we can get him for under 50 million. But I don't know. I don't know if Jason Wilcox have got any faults like that. The main thing for our two central midfielders, which I think we buy two, there's a lot of talk. Obviously, Anderson's a done deal going to City, and let's be fair, I don't even want to bid for him if he wants to go to City, because does he start at City? Not necessarily, and he's clearly going there without any offers coming in for money, and I think you missed the bullet on that one, because Man United isn't in that position where we can buy players and just give them the wage. We need players who want to fight, who want to bring us back to the top, not come in and be part of a top. So yeah, Hjumand for me would be great, but he's not Premier League proven, and that's my fear with Wilcox, who I think Wilcox needs to go. If Christopher Favell takes over as director of football, then Hjumand's probably got a good shout. If he doesn't, I think Wilcox goes for your Baleba, your Anderson, your Walton, Sander Burge, someone like that maybe. So yeah, so I really do rate him. Boxing, Mark, if you could bring any coach in to assist Carrick's coaching team, who would you bring in? Wayne Rooney. Wayne Rooney. The one asset we are missing personally is a striker coach. Obviously, we've got Johnny Evans there. We've got doing set pieces with, I always forget his name, the ex under 18s manager, not Travis Scott, Belkin, something like that. Him. So yeah, no, Wayne Rooney. I think him and Carrick obviously are very close. I think obviously with Johnny Evans, he knows everyone. He's played and knows everyone in that coaching staff. And like we brought in Rude, everyone was all for that. I just feel we just need someone in the chance taking thing, teaching those little things. The dark arts of being a striker. As you're turning, drive your elbow into his ribs. Make sure you've got a hand on his hip as you turn, not on his body, so you can push his body shape out. So it puts him one step behind you. Just silly little things like that. So for me, Wayne Rooney. And you'll notice I didn't even think about that because I just think he fits that. But yeah, a striking coach, and that's one. Boxing says Pep. Yeah. Pep, you want to leave City? Can you just come and give Carrick a few tips? Trev, not a manager, just a coach to add to the team. Boxing, Roy Keane. Well, there's a lot of rumours linking Roy Keane to the Tottenham job, isn't it, at the moment? So that would be amazing. Absolutely amazing to see Keane trying to manage in modern day football. I absolutely love Roy Keane to the death. I'd never have a problem with anything that he says because I think he's just being honest. Whether he has a problem with Carrick or not, I don't care. But yeah, Keano would be bloody hilarious. They'll laugh about that. You can always cover up the tie. You can, but social media, Trev, you can't cover up pictures of Hjumand training in a the top where his sleeves are a bit like that, and you just see the bottom of the Arsenal crest on his forearm, on his upper arm. So a bit, but we can get laser treatment. Yeah, we can get it removed. Mark, what would you change in the handball rule? I think you would be better off playing with no hands as penalties are given willy nilly. Natural movements are being overly punished. Handball rule is bullshit. Handball needs to be black and white, and it needs to be one thing or the other. Okay, and I will break this down as quickly as 30 seconds. When the ball hits a defender's foot, then hits his hands, it is not a penalty. It's ball to hand, and I think that is fair. But when currently, with the way the rule is written, when a ball hits a striker's hand or even a teammate's hand in the build-up before he scores, it disallows the goal. It's the same bloody thing. It's still ball to hand. So you can't have two rules. It needs to be black and white. In my eyes, you either go extreme and we get more goals in the game. If it hits the hand, it's a penalty. You know, if I'm running and it's hit my hand and it's hit me up here as I'm driving my hand up, I'm sorry, it will still hit your hand. If you were to stick with that rule, then everyone's going to play football with their hands behind their back. Movement's going to be terrible. You're going to be off balance. And then surely that makes an unnatural movement, a natural movement, because you've got to put your arm somewhere else. It just needs to be one or other. A bit like offside, you're either onside or offside. There's no hairline, which we've all know. If you haven't seen Arsene Wenger's having his, well, it's not his way, but it's the old style, clear daylight, trialled in the Canadian Premier League when that starts back up, I think, in the coming weeks, or if it hasn't already started, that's going to be trialled out there. So there's going to actually be clear daylight to be offside. I think the same with handball. It needs to be by the letter of the law. There is no judgment calls. If it touches the hand in the build-up, it's disallowed. If it touches the hand in the penalty box, it's a penalty. Or you go completely the other way. No, if you're going to do ball to hand, then you can't disallow goals if it hits someone's hand when they're hitting a shot or anything. So I don't really understand the handball rule, Trevor. That's probably why you're asking. Most of us don't understand the handball rule anymore. The most common natural movements are the most punished, and you are absolutely right. When you're jockeying someone, hands down by your side, you know, and yet they'll whip the ball in and trying to hit your hand. That's why you don't see so many good crosses. They're not aiming to put the ball in the box. They're aiming for a body part. Almost, it feels like to get that handball. Mark, never knew you wanted a rapper as a coach at United. Would it be just to bring a bit of a vibe to a good place? Well, we've got a good vibe going at the moment. You know, if we can keep the good vibes going, I'm all for that. Boxing agrees. Yeah, I think Rooney would be a good shout. He's a pure legend, and as well as one of the world's best ever players, and United's all-time leading goal scorer, right? So as a striking coach coming in doing that, you know, he's still got ties to the club. I just in my head it works, but I can also understand why the club might not want to do something like that. The game is becoming Americanised. If it was supposed to be only for a goal or not a goal, and now it's involved in everything. It's just to add drama and tension to every decision. Yeah, and it's also to make other people have more of a spotlight on them. You know, if you haven't seen the overlap this week, was it the overlap or was it the good, the bad, and the football? It's one of the two where they're talking about the referees and the wearing the tight tops, trying to look all like buff and that now, and you're like, it's all about image. It's all about who you are. Social media clips. You're right. VAR wasn't meant to re-referee games. And that's all we hear. Every game of every week is something being re-refereed, which is literally in the rules of VAR. It is not there to re-referee decisions. Well, we obviously know nothing about what re-refereeing is. The corners are a joke as well. It's literally a wrestling match. Yes, that needs to be changed. They are doing something for the World Cup regarding corners and wrestling. Um, I don't talk about this guy very much for obvious reasons, but Mark Goldbridge made a really good point. I saw him tweet it out. And is the long throws, the wrestling from corners, and things we've had in the Premier League this season and started last season one of the main reasons we've done so poor in Europe this year? Because so many goals have come from these set pieces, which you can't get away with in the Champions League and any European competitions. You know, how many goals from open play are we seeing? So maybe you're right. The ref needs to concentrate on keeping control of the games. A red card soon warns players who's the boss, and that's what I agree with. Um, more yellow cards for time wasting on the throw-ins, things like that. Just that's what speeds the game up. Fear of getting booked speeds the game up. I watched the ref cam for Man United Villa, and the ref's counting down Martinez with the ball in his hand, literally full screaming 5, 4, 3, 2, and he's kicked it. And he's like, he could have clearly have said one and given the corner, but they don't want to do it because and the timing between each count got longer. So it's the options are there, but the ref doesn't want to do it. But he's quite happy to have VAR correct him. Do you see what I mean? So this now bringing VAR to do ball in and out of play. Is it a corner? Is it not a corner? Oh, mate, next season could be wild for decisions. What I am in favour is the ref cam. Very interesting insight into referees during a game. Funny, I hadn't read this bit yet. More of that should be commonplace. Yeah, we are the only ones currently doing it. It is yet again something else being trialled with us. You've seen it in like charity matches, things like that, but we're actually using it. Same as talking to the crowd, explaining the decision. That was trialled through the Premier League. It does show a lot of the time the refs are in a lot better position than we probably give them credit for. Because we're watching the ball, we're watching the players, and how many times you're actually looking to see where the ref was when he makes that decision. So, yeah, ref's fitness is absolutely unbelievable, and if anything, that's what the ref cam shows. So I can't criticise them for that. They keep up with some of the fastest players in the world, up and down. What I would like to see with ref cam is I would just like to see 6 referees, or 6 match officials. Let's give them their proper titles. 4 linos. You only do one half, but you do it on both sides, and one half each for a referee for decisions. Bit Americanised, as Trevor you just said about it getting more Americanised. I just think that just makes the speed of the correct decisions better. And then VAR shouldn't need to be looked at, right? There's enough people on there using the American football format of, you know, the challenges and things like that, because they are looking at bringing in challenges on the rest decisions. I say give us more officials. They want to be part of the show. Let's make them part of the show. And you know, offside. Well, hang on, the other side's not got his flag up, so he doesn't think it's offside. Okay, then we need to go to VAR. That's the way it should be done. I said I'd come back to that. Far as there is a get out clause. Yeah, absolutely it is, Trevor, and it always will do. Boxing, I wanted to come back to this anyway. Trevor, I think, may have asked about it, or it might have been Bilal. What do I think about what's happened to Senegal and the AFCON? I think it's absolutely disgusting this has actually happened. First and foremost, the taking this long to make that decision is what is the biggest crime. Okay. Did Senegal take their players off the pitch? Yes. Were they off the pitch for 16 minutes? Yes. Are they turning around and saying that's forfeited the match right now? Yes. But why did it not forfeit the match right there and then? You took the players off. You've walked them off. That's match abandoned. You've taken your players off. I can tell you, if you do that in a Sunday league match, even in a league match, it's probably going to be match abandoned, right? What it done, put all that pressure on the penalty taker, who probably could have won if he just got to step up and take it. Maybe he still misses it. Doing a Panenka, you've deserved to miss a penalty anyway. But to take that long to strip him, it should have been done within 48 hours. Then maybe we don't have this conversation. We can all understand it. Do I think it's the right decision? I actually do. Because I thought the manager was bang out of order to pulling his players off because he didn't agree with the penalty. Was it a penalty? I can't even remember. Okay, I need to go back and look. You're putting me on the spot right now. But what I do remember is the penalty taker had to wait all that time. And we've seen it. Do you remember Bruno missing that vital penalty where it took like almost 10 minutes from VAR checking, was it a penalty? It was the one where the player should have been sent off for putting him back. And he didn't get sent off. He just got the yellow card. And then Bruno ends up missing the penalty. Waiting and waiting and waiting. It just puts so much doubt in your head. Do I go left? Do I go right? Do I just hit it? And he went for a Panenka, you know, and like I say, it's just wrong. But Senegal need one hell of a fine for bringing the game into disrepute. Did they get that? I don't remember seeing anything about it. How did Morocco feel being handed a title they didn't win? I'm sure on paper, looking back 20 years from now, no one's really going to look at it, but it might have the old exclamation mark. Oh yeah, you know, forfeited. So yeah, it's a hard one. What about all the players that got pulled off? They're following their instructions. There's so many aspects. It's so multi-layered about what was wrong. But to wait 2 months plus to come to that decision, it was just so wrong. What's boxing? Trevor saying here, boxing AFCON was a joke of a final. When they walked off, the game should have been forfeited by Senegal. Yeah, that's exactly what I was saying. Yes, Trev, it's a farce, but to change the decision is strange. But, okay, boxing, Trevor, I'm going to ask you this. Are we not asking for the same of Man City? Are we not asking for Man City eventually get fucking 115 charges against them? I'll be happy if I just bring one charge against them right now. But are we not asking for City to be stripped? Maybe we get an extra title back. You know, do other teams get a relegation? So we are asking something similar of the Premier League. But yeah, it's wrong. It's just wrong on so many levels. Guys, we've been going an hour. If you've made it this far and you haven't hit the thumbs up, what the hell are you doing? You know, please just jump out the chat, go back, give it a big thumbs up, jump back in, and have something else to say. If you haven't subscribed, definitely be hitting that, guys. There's a lot to come over the summer and that from me. Some changes, you know, I'm hoping to upgrade some of the software, things like that. And we getting ready for next season and maybe even a couple of watch-alongs. Oh, I've never done a watch-along, but I do quite fancy it. Boxing, I agree. What have we got here? Ibrahim Diaz was waiting for an age. Yeah, it was 16 minutes. They were off the pitch, so it must have been almost 20 minutes to take that penalty. Stiffening up right near the end of the game, cramp could be setting in. There's so many things for taking that penalty that could have been hard. In reality, he was in a situation where he would not have been if he took it immediately. Exactly. Want City stripped, but don't care about the titles now. They have been gone. Well, we do care about titles because if we get another one back, Liverpool have got to get more to catch us, right? There's pros and cons to everything. Guys, it has been an absolutely brilliant show. I'm going to leave it there. Hour 15, like I say. Please, on your way out, give it a thumbs up. If there's anything you disagree with, anything you really like, please jump in the comments afterwards. I need more feedback from you guys. Like I say right now, 75% of you watching are not subscribed to the channel. So we need to start converting that. So please share the video out. Get as many subscribers as possible. That would be amazing. I've had over 30,000 views in the last month alone. imagine what we could be doing with this channel if all of them are giving it the big red button, eh? We'll see you Friday night, straight after the game. I will do match player reactions, okay? Just 15, 20 minutes, heartfelt, what we think of that. And then on Saturday, I'll probably do a reaction show. Oh, Jarvis coming in at the end. You're going to have to do catch up. We're just finishing up. On Saturday, we'll do a breakdown of the game and talk about everything going forward. But, you know, you've all been amazing tonight. Really appreciate all of it in the chat. Couple of new names in there. Thank you so much for getting involved. That's what it's all about. Jarvis, good evening and good night to you, sir. And everyone else, I will catch you tomorrow night. No, Friday night. Tomorrow's Thursday. See you later.